Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I'm Robin, and I garden in East Central Florida. And today is a garden tour day. Although we're not going to do gardens today, I thought it might be interesting. It's the first week of May, and I thought, let's do the fruit trees. And you guys have not got to see all of these all the time. Sometimes I point from a distance. Occasionally I'll do like a specific video on, pollination or fruit. But anyhow, let's get into the details on this because we have quite a few fruit trees, and also we'll do like the berries and the vines, okay? So right behind me is the Barbados cherry tree. It's about 5 years old, and it had a super hard prune in it last year. It was a good 3 feet or so taller and wider, for sure. Might have been 6 feet wider for sure. And I had to deeply prune it for just getting in and out of the gate. And then I thought, okay, for hurricanes and for picking reasons, it's just way too tall. So we did a very hard prune after it completed fruiting. Now it does fruit, usually starts about April, and I've already eaten one piece of fruit, but then we had that cold snap, and now we're just seeing the blooms come back on in May. And so we should start seeing babies and more fruit. I can pick usually daily on this all the way up to close to late October, sometimes November, depending on how warm we are. But I left just the main branches, a couple little things, but as you can see, some of these aren't going to grow anyhow right here. But yeah, we really tidied it up. Looks good. I have some suckers. It does have a tendency to throw a couple little suckers out on the lower end. So we just tidy those up once or twice a year. And this is really heavy producer. I have made jelly. I have made juice out of it. And it does have multiple seeds in it, but we really love our Barbados cherry tree. It can handle full sun, and it's just something we really love. Sorry, the lighting is not very good today because we are in cloud cover, complete cloud cover. And we also, oh, I got squirrels. We also woke up to a huge blanket of fog. But I thought this is my opportunity to do a garden tour right now because it's not beating down heat on me. This may be the last time you see me without a hat and sweat pouring off my forehead. Oh, it's been hot. Yesterday we had a heat index of 104 degrees, which is unusually hot for the being early May. It's normal in August. But anyhow, behind me we have the dwarf Namois bananas, and I do have a rack on this one, and I have a small rack, well, a better rack over here, even in spite of us being in a drought. And then I have the Arbequina olive. It is maybe about 3 years old, but I got it as a teeny tiny seedling, and so it's doing very well. Of course, this side is stretching for the sun because the majority of it is in shade. Again, no blooms. Maybe in the next couple of years I should get blooms, or start getting fruit too. So we'll see. I'm in no hurry. Right now it's just filling up a very blank corner. And we used to have like our fire pit here and a seating here and the fire pit this way. And this kind of held all of our wood and stuff, and then it became a viney mess. And so we just kind of turned it into something a little bit more productive, hopefully, in the future. We do have a couple papayas of unknown variety over here over the pool. And so this is the female, this is the male. But again, I don't know what they are. This male, it's interesting that it was like one plant and split. I don't know if that's normal. I'm not really super knowledgeable on papayas, but that's pretty cool that we have that. And the hummingbirds love coming in for the fruit here. I've not actually been able to pick any papayas off this female yet. She's still dropping fruit. So anyhow, she's not really here to feed me. I just want that tropical vibe around the pool. And as you can see, we have this, and then we have turmeric and shampoo ginger, and we will have other gingers also around the pool. So we'll have more, you know, production eventually around here. Look at this. This is brand new. This is iron cherry stock. Now it's going to shoot up a little bit more, but we're in a drought and I'm hand watering. Look at the cute and precious little blooms on this. Oh, that's adorable. They just do one big long flower spike. You cut it and then that's it. It doesn't bloom anymore. So, and I don't even know if it's perennial or if it's an annual. I'm going to guess it'll be just an annual in our zone. But that is really cool how we have those flowers right here. Behind me here is the Persian Lime, and she's a heavy producer when she wants to be. We're in a bit of a drought now, and I think in spite of my watering, she is losing leaves and she is dropping a lot of her early spring fruit. But she's also putting on more blooms, so perhaps she does flush multiple times a year. I'm using a feminine thing on her, but you know, say it however you want to say it. And she has a little bit of sooty mold as well. But as you can see, you know, this fruit is not going to set right here. A lot of it is already dropped. Here are blooms. You can see multiple blooms. I saw them yesterday too. Again, we also have a lot of leaf droppage. Let's see, she spent the first 3 years in a pot and did not like that. And then she got moved twice over in here. We realized she was kind of in a path, like if we have to bring in big trucks for the trees. She was kind of in a danger zone. So that's when she got moved over here. And anyhow, she has loved this location. She has doubled or tripled in size. And she's going to be a great producer for many years for our family. In fact, one thing she's already produced was another Persian Lime. And one of her branches reached the ground and produced, you know, got dirt covered over it and made some roots. And I've discovered it over winter. And I guess it was February 21st to 24. I found it and put it in here, and she's already putting on new growth. Yep. And she's going to make it. And so we'll have to find a home for her somewhere else. I'm not real sure where we'll put her. No need to rush yet. She's still very little. And over here, I had to replace my other Meer Lemon with the new Meer Lemon. And now this one is, you know, didn't like the transplant shock and has dropped a couple of the pieces of fruit. This one will eventually drop, but still holding a couple more. And there's about 5 good lemons on it. Don't let me mess that up. And also still blooming. So that's pretty cool. And then since we have this sort of a weird dead corner, I have this cable going up here that keeps the boat barn from becoming a kite in hurricanes or tornadoes. And these stakes go down 3 or 4 feet. And so, you know, we never take the path through here. So I thought I would fill it with this big old lemon bush. That would be nice. And we always walk underneath here to, you know, do any access to the side of the house. So there is Meer Lemon and Persian Lime, number 2. This is my, I'm going to mess it up, Sabra Jabotca. And she leafed out very nice. And some of you have noticed that it's been a struggle ever since we had somebody pressure wash the shed in, was that early 23 or early 24 or 2022. Okay, but anyhow, I said no chemicals, and I think some still leached down, and this tree has struggled since, but it leafed out beautifully. And I thought we were out of the woods this spring, and the burnt tips are coming back on. She's got a little, well, drought. Everything's dropping leaves because of the drought. We're just not getting what we need. But I have done some things. One of my great subscribers, Help Is On The Way, is her name. Well, her Google name or something. And so she has these, and she suggested I've been adding a little vinegar to the water. Now I've only done one treatment that way. So like a tablespoon of white vinegar to water. We'll see if that helps. Plus my other friends at Heritage Groves Farm mentioned pine fines, so I bought pine fines and put those down. We'll see if I can help the acidity level. It likes to be acid. This is also known as the Brazilian grape, and it puts fruit on its trunk. Now this is still young. It takes several years to get to this point, and I think we're only at I think we passed 4. I think we're on year 5 now. And so I'm looking at another 2 or 3 years before I ever see fruit. So, you know, I have some time to figure out this. It loves acidity. So if I can ever figure out how to get this acidic, I would. And it only gets morning sun and a little bit of evening sun. But during the worst part of the day, it's shaded behind this shed, which is lovely. We do have cocktail apple trees out here, at least in this tub. And so this is a mixture of Devonshire Corydon. It's got Lady Williams on this side, which has leafed out. This is a brand new graft of 2023. Then I have Gold Rush, also graft of 2023. That's right here. I already took the tape off because it did so well. And on this side is a it's 2024. Oh my goodness, I got to get my years right. So these are 2024 grafts. This is a 2023 Granny Smith apple graft, and it shoots way up 6-7 feet, but you know, minus the tub height. I'm waiting for that to leaf out. This one is definitely my late season apple, at least the Granny Smith is, and the Devonshire Corydon. I also bought Cherry Crush apple and another Gold Rush, but a standalone tree and not a graft. And so these will get really high, and we're eventually, I think, going to put them along the back side here of the sheds. And then I have an ice cream, oh, that scared me, that lizard. Ice cream bean tree. It's very little, but when I took it off the table and I put it over here where it gets a little bit more sun, it has started waking up immediately. So that's a note to self. It really likes a little bit more sun than what it was getting. No morning sun on the grow table, but you know, afternoon cooked. And so it's so much happier there, and we need to find a good home for it now. So we're going to do 2 trees together because they're in the same family. So we have a Tropic Beauty Peach and a Tropic Snow Peach. Now this one just came in about January of this year, 2024. We got it transplanted in here, and it did bloom and it did fruit, but it dropped all of its fruit, which is fine because it's still working on root development. Over here with the Tropic Beauty, she was put into the ground April of 2022, and typically these peach trees grow to be 20 feet high by 15 feet wide. I have heavily mulched, but the grass is coming over them now. This is her first year putting on peaches where she holds onto them. I hope you can see that. Let's see if we can find a little better angle. I put the fruit grow bags on, or the fruit tree bags, to protect everything from squirrels. But if you can see in there, they're starting to blush out, and I believe this is a bit of a late season you know, bloomer and fruiting and then harvesting. I have a lot of friends already picking, a couple other friends already picking their peaches, and my friend the bull up in Georgia, he's already picking peaches, the thinnest peach tree. But not me, because mine are really slow, and the drought's not helping. Once again, I hate to keep complaining, but you know, that does play a big role into it, and we are about to head into a week of rain, so that is lovely. I hope they put on a little bit more size and then color up as well. So right now these bags hold very well. These are 72 inches by 72 long by 84 deep, or I don't know how you would say. They have these little zippers on the bag if you need to get into them. And I did have a lizard trapped in here, and I tried really hard to get him out. It looks like he has stayed out. I haven't seen him for this week. Oh, Buddy's got the zoom zooms. He loves this nice cool weather. Over here we have a winter Mexican avocado. So this is a Haas type, which is a type B. It has lots of fruit on it. You can see these. This is a little bit smaller one. I think I counted, look, that's a big one. Counted about 22 that I just visually had easily seen while watering it. This plant got transplanted in the ground. Let's see, I think it was right around December, January, somewhere, might have even been November of 2018. And so it was probably in a pot a good year with me, and then maybe a year of from seedling or grafted seedling into, you know, when I purchased it. So it's several years old, and it has flowered 3 years, but this is the first year we've actually got fruit to hold and stay. Last year we had like 4 avocados, and all of them dropped in a hailstorm. So thank goodness, you know, we haven't had to go through any of those devastating tornadoes or hail like some of those in the central United States. And our hearts and prayers go out with you guys. Behind me here is a black sapote, and this is, let's see, did we put it in 2 falls ago? So it's been in the ground about 18 months, and it went from a little guy all the way, it almost has tripled in size. And then this is its first year fruiting and blooming, and there you go. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perhaps a 6th one, but 5 is for sure what I'm seeing when I come out here and look. And the flower was white on it, and it turned black, and so I'm been told that that means it was pollinated, and I didn't see bees on it, so it looked like the ants did their job. There was definitely little crawly things all up here the week of its pollination. And these trees can grow extremely tall. Like I think I read like 45, 50 feet they can go, but they also like the lateral branch on out. And so we'll have to keep that in check. Between the avocado here and the nectarine next to it. So I did put it here because I don't mind how tall it wants to go, although, you know, we want to be able to pick the fruit. But it put it more or less to take up some of this dead corner. And I do walk through here a little bit, but mostly my path to the chickens is, you can kind of see where I've worn a path right here. And the chicken coop door that I go in and out of every day is on this side. So there you go, black sapote. Also, I think some people call it the chocolate pudding plant, although the fruit doesn't taste like chocolate or pudding, but it has a very soft consistency like that. If you pick it when it's fully mature, it's a indescribable kind of flavor to it. It's really cool. Now I do have a hurricane rope around it back when it was little, but I think if we start going through another hurricane, I'm gonna have to put a stake or tie. A stake's already in. Almost all my trees have hurricane stakes. I'll have to make a tie up here. I see it's leaning backwards a little bit to find the light, which is typical and normal. Okay, here we go. Sun red nectarine. Can you see those? There's, I think, approximately 15 to 18 pieces of fruit on here. I've forgotten now. They've all turned red, so we're ready to go there. They're still hard as rocks though. But this again can go to be another like 15 by 20 type tree, and this is its 2nd year producing fruit for me. Let's see if we can get that. It looks Looks kind of creepy, doesn't it? But this is its second year, although last year the squirrels picked off fruit one by one, which is why I ordered 3 of these fruit tree bags. And let's see, I had to share 1 piece of fruit along with the squirrel, and I did it. Okay, I'm not too proud to say I ate after a squirrel, but I was like, I'm eating 1 piece of fruit. If I put so much effort and years into this, you got to fight the squirrels, and if you can't beat them, join them. This tree has been in here maybe 2 to 3 years. I ordered it from Willis Orchard, and UPS delivered it and broke a couple branches, but Willis offered to replace it if it didn't thrive, but it has completely thrived back here in the shaded partial sun food forest. It gets broken through light. Let me show you. So in the summer, the light travels from the sun would be right about here and through these trees, and then a little bit of shade, and then more through these trees. So that's kind of the summer path. In the winter, it just stays a little bit lower, All right, I'm so proud to present to you the Bell Starfruit / Carambola. This is the one we just transplanted 6 weeks or so ago. And it was totally pissed off and dropped, all yellowed and dropped its leaves. This one's about ready to go. And see, I'm showing you the good, bad, and the ugly. I did not come in here cleaning these trees up. But anyhow, look, all brand new leaf growth right here. Super excited. It has made the transplant. We're going to be looking next to see if it decides to go ahead and fruit out. Now this tree is probably about 3 years old-ish, or 4. I got it as a baby. It lived a couple of years over in the food forest by the elderberry tree, and it had fruited maybe a spring, a fall, and another spring fruiting, and then all of a sudden in the second year of fruiting, I noticed that the fruit was beginning to lessen and lessen, and by the spring of the 3rd year, it was not putting out any more blooms. So I mostly did some investigative work. I did call my county, Brevard County Cooperative Extension Agency, or however you say that, and talked to a couple different master gardeners there, and they thought perhaps it was true, since some of those trees that put out toxic berries also put out toxins through the roots, or they communicate through the roots, much like a Brazilian pepper tree can do. And we thought perhaps it was sending messages to the star fruit to not produce anymore. So it will be very interesting to see if all of a sudden we start picking up blooms and fruit again. Plus, it's going to get a whole lot more sun over here. I really do also believe it was in first, but then I put in elderberry, and that grew way faster, matured faster, and taller. And so this tree was definitely getting shaded out as well. I forgot to mention that I have seen mature star fruit that go at least 30 feet by 20-25 feet wide. So if it's really happy, it can take off and do a lot. Now, I don't want this to become that huge. I want to be able to have access to the fruit. Plus, I don't want to have so much excess of fruit that it either breaks the tree or I'm having to feed the entire neighborhood, which I don't mind some of that, but what am I going to do with 500 star fruit a year? I don't need that. Okay, let's come on over here to my Scarlet Beauty Plum, which is also beginning to turn colors, as you can see right there. It's getting the blushing on the shoulders. Some of them further inland have complete peach color or plum color. The wind has done a number. Here's a branch. It actually fell all the way down, came down, but it didn't break. But it was all the way down. So I've kind of propped it back up inside there. The fruit is small. Again, the drought, even with me watering, I'm trying to do my best to to play God with the water, but I can't. I don't have, you know, my water has chlorine in it and God's has nitrogen. But I think this tree is holding close to 15 plums on it or so. I can't really get in there and see it very well, but anyhow, that's about what I've counted from the outside. I did put a pluot graft onto it and it grew very well. I'm very excited about that. So now the Gulf Beauty plum grafted, or scion, I guess, died. So I'm not going to get that one this year, but okay. We're still doing pretty good. I had pretty good success on my grafting this year. And this tree does get, it has more of a upward growth instead of a lateral. And so I'll have to keep that in check, but it does like to bloom at the tippy tops. So after fruiting season, we're going to take this baby right back down. And it'll probably still be this tall by next year, but that's the best, you know, I can do is take it down a little bit, let it put on its new growth, and then fruit on the slightly more mature wood. So I like it. And this fruit is starting to soften up a little bit. Well, not this one, but the red ones. I had to go inside the bag, you know, to move this limb. And when I, where's it zipper? It was right around here somewhere. Yeah, right here. And when I did, I pinched some of the red ones in the back and they were getting soft. So excited about that. Now here is jelly fig. And I've even taken cuttings. You know, I've done my pruning work and I've taken some cuttings and they've been successful. Still no, I had one piece of fruit last year and nothing yet, but I imagine as the rain comes, so will the fruit. Here you just saw in one of the last videos, the black mulberry. I had a dwarf everbearing mulberry here. We got rid of it. It was not producing very well, and so these, I don't know if the fruit is still on it. No, it got picked off. There was still one more piece of fruit on it, so it's a little bit larger than a digit on your finger. Maybe like, I don't know how big, maybe a solid inch. So it will produce a lot more fruit for me in the upcoming years, and it seems to be suffering no transplant shock. And it gets much bigger and wider, so it has plenty of room to grow out here. And it has several feet before it hits the fence, so we'll keep most of the fruit on our side. Although I imagine the squirrels will use this as a access to the tree and the fruit. And probably birds. Over here I do have a teeny tiny dwarf everbearing mulberry. It's part of my smoothie garden. And that leads us over here to my Pickering Mango. And this is just a little guy. It's maybe how old is it? I think it's definitely been in the ground over 2 years. So, and last year it bloomed and fruited. This year it bloomed only on this side of the tree. This side didn't do anything for us. It put on several fruits or pieces of fruit, and like it's been dropping on its very own whatever it doesn't need, so that's okay. And it looks like I'll be left with 1, 2, 3, and 4 mangoes. So I use these little yard ornaments to hold up these limbs so the weight is not on the poor little tree. Now these are dwarf, so I mean that is what it is, but I think their full mature height is like only 12 feet or 10 feet. They're also known as the patio mango if you need to keep one in a pot on a patio in very small spaces, apartment life. This is a good choice for you. I did this tree in quite a bit of detail some time back, so if I can find that, I'll put it at the end if you're interested. And then, you know, so we look forward to having our first pieces of mango this year from this tree. I'm gonna guess maybe it's 3 to 4 years old. This is not a fruit tree, But this is fruit, and so we have Everbearing Strawberries, which are perennial. And I've tried these before, but in the ground, and they did not like being in the soil. Soil was not their pH, but I put them in a box, and boom, I can't stop them all spring. They're doing excellent. Uh-oh, this one's, don't grow through the little thing. I'll never get you. Oh, you're getting too big. There we go. I don't want the squirrels to figure out where it's at. It's responding really well to the fish emulsion. Look at the response we're having, and blooms everywhere. So this is really good. I usually pick from it about twice a week. This morning I picked one. I left this one, it wasn't quite done. And then usually on Sunday nights the grandbabies come pick their strawberries. Over here we have pineapple guava, which is maybe 3-4 years old. I got it a stick at a plant sale for a garden club, and it's still, I heard these can take us several years before they actually bloom and fruit. So we're just still in the growing process, but it's right next to Mexican cream guava, which I've had to prune a couple times. It got a real hard prune last year. I got very mad at it. It's only given me a few blooms and like a couple pieces of fruit ever. So anyhow, I do know that I need to tip it. That might help stimulate the blooms. The blooms do like to be somewhere inland from the end, so they say if you clip the tips, that'll stimulate the rest of it to want to reproduce and throw out the babies, you know, the blooms and fruit. So anyhow, this tree can get quite high. It can easily go about 10 feet here, and we'll say maybe 12 feet plus 10 feet wide. It's really pretty cool. It's definitely would make a great hedge. Any of these guavas would make great hedges if you're in that kind of situation and you have to be in an HOA. Now here's miracle fruit. This also looks like a hedge, and it produces these little red berries. You can see I have one fresh today, and these will change your taste buds. For about 20-30 minutes, it'll take sour things and make them sweet. And sometimes they say that people who are undergoing cancer treatment and where their taste buds are changed by the chemo or something like that, that they'll eat these and it'll make food much more palatable. And I got this as a free little seedling by a guy at the port. And look at we are starting to get, finally we're starting to fruit. And so he gave me, it makes babies. I have given away babies, and I would say it's definitely about 4 years old. Doing excellent here. And look at my rose along the way. Isn't it beautiful? This is my key lime. It's not super happy. It's not dying. I think maybe it could use more sun, but I am starting it on the fish emulsion, and it is greening up and looking a little bit happier, so that might be helpful. Here's peanut butter tree, and this thing has a very fast growth rate, and it can go easily 12-15 feet high, and it can go very the branches really arch over and they're very flimsy, and it puts on little orange to red fruit, and they're pretty cool. It's kind of a novelty, so we're not particular about it's just okay. So I hard pruned it back over the winter, and it's just now coming out of it. It should be fruiting by now, but not after a hard prune. It's taking an extra month or so to recover. Here next to it is my ruby red grapefruit, and we do have quite a few grapefruit put on it this year, but mostly all on this western side. It's kind of funny how it's doing that. We have some up there. I don't know if it'll lose some of these smaller ones, but doing really well. And it bloomed. Whoa, 2 years ago it bloomed like in December, way too early, and then lost its fruit over winter. This year it bloomed in, I want to say February, March. And that was much better for this tree. And it's held more fruit onto it because of that. It does have a Meer Lemon graft right here, but if you ever plant a tree that has a graft already onto it, put your little graft on the south side. Don't put it on the north side like I did, because it's really struggling. It does bloom, but it doesn't get seen by the bees because it's low, and it just doesn't get enough sun. All of this is growing towards, the sun. And so, unfortunately, I never get lemon off of this graft. Over here we have Waita Blackberry, and we have some berries coming. This is a little slower than some other types, or perhaps it's just the shade, the intense shade it's in. Now, these are last year's canes. These are flora canes, and these are primo canes. See how much greener it is? Look at, I gotta get these air potatoes off of it. But anyhow, so this one looks like it's maybe trying to die. But anyhow, here's the blooms from this year. I'm trying to do my best to learn what I can about blackberries. Here's some more blooms on it. Yeah. And I'm going to do my best this year learning how to air layer, and I'm going to take this whole section and try to root it for growing more. We just put in the structure a month or two ago. Jack helped me. Well, I got the post in with my son, mostly myself actually. I was waiting on him, but I did it before he got here, and Jack has been helping me with the wire, and we put supports, to keep them in place. And then we put an extra wire at the top for when I have to eventually drape like bird netting over it, because there'll be a day when I wish I had bird netting. So that's already in place up there on the top. Pretty cool. And I'm really happy with this system versus just like wiring. We're going to do our best to finish this because I got 6% battery left. So this is a green grape I have, and it did produce last year for the first time. I think it's probably 4 years old now. Still kind of young. I can get easily 20 good years out of a grapevine, and I did a much better job of pruning it back. But just didn't get a lot of fruit. I don't know what it's working on. Some years they produce more than others. It just didn't even put out the blooms. And so these are some of the grapes I got, and some more grapes that I got, but nothing like last year. Oh, this is my elderberry coming in through the cattle panel trellis tunnel. I got tongue-tied there. Yeah, so we're gonna have plenty of elderberry again, and then we'll make more elderberry syrup this coming winter. And over here, I got the moringa tree, which isn't a fruit tree, but still nonetheless doing very well. And it's got blooms on it, but no seed pods yet. And here I have my Summit Muscadine, and this one's a year younger, so it's only like 3 years, but it did produce a little bit last year, like about a dozen pieces of fruit. And this year we have much more, but it's all way up here on the sunny side. I'm trying to see if I can find, I don't know if you can see that, but like right around there. Yeah, it has some fruit. They're behind. They're definitely a month or two behind the other grapes. But be sure to subscribe, stick with us, give a thumbs up if you like the fruit tree tour. I have Chicago Hardy and brown turkey figs. No fruit on them, they're just sticks mostly. We have the Grand Nane's back there, bananas, and we have the Namwa bananas here. First rack on it already, and the Grand Nane's have been here for a couple of years. And so I absolutely love how hard my banana trees work for me. I think Well, we just ate a rack, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 racks going right now in the garden. We totally forgot the second apple tree in a container. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is the Bite Me apple, and it looks like my black strawberry graft did not work, but my burgundy graft is doing amazing. Oh, a Jonah Gold. Yeah. There you go. We had Bite Me blooms, but I don't think we didn't get anything. Nothing from it. But you know what? Both these apple trees will bloom again in the late summer, and then you can overwinter apples. And actually, that's okay with me. Last year we had 4 apples from the Bite Me, and yeah, it got bitter rot. So I've done a better job of trying to control fungus on those apple trees. And then, you know, anyhow, I don't mind the thought of overwintering apples. So that's pretty cool. And if you want to see more videos about my apple trees, look down here. I will put them in description box, and I'll put them over on the left bottom side or right bottom side to you. So you guys, that's it. We're out of battery. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.